For Vietnam, I think firstly about HLP. So I have a discussion with HLP about the extension of Chu Kabang projects, and they said that they are now talking to the shareholder, and they want to propose the fee for extension. I think this is similar to what they requested last year. So they said that they will come back with the proposed premium if we want to acquire the project as they are right now, and if we want to extend the agreement for another 1 year, they may propose some fee for that extension. So just waiting for what they are going to provide for that before we can have further discussion. And I think at the same time, Sanat has been preparing the model for Gebang 2 and 3, and it seems that the economic do not look very good. Maybe Sanat can give a bit explanation, but I think the IRR is like a 1 or 1.5% or so. I don't know why it's too much low like that.
I think the main difference is that the main difference is the tariff ceiling that we estimated originally was around 82.5 USD per megawatt hour, and then currently NIA's estimate of the market is 68. So there is around 18% decrease in the estimate of the tariff that we would be able to get. That has the most material impact. And then the second is the cost of financing. Previously, the interest rate was around 7% for USD, and then now it's around 10%. 9.5% is the assumption that I use, and then that's around like a 34% increase. So these are the two main factors that make a material impact on the EIR.
I guess along with the wind speed and AEP.
Yeah, the wind speed and AEP assumed previously was almost the same, but it is quite low. Yeah.
So assumed previously that must have been not when we originally invested. We thought it was going to be much higher.
No, it's almost the same assumption when we originally invested, and then based on Jorge's most recent analysis, it's almost the same.
We assumed when we originally invested that these, I thought, were going to have, per the meso forecast discussion we had last week, it was much higher wind speed originally.
Yeah, that's right. So there is a slight difference in the estimate that they gave. So I'll check again, but
yeah, I think what we heard.
Site potential level, it seems to be the same.
Let's look back to what our original approvals were, because I think what Jorge told us last week was 6.2 and 6.0.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
We'll check that out.
I think, Nia, if someplace like Baokang that doesn't have a lot of other projects competing ended up with 6.2, 6.3 meter per second wind, maybe there would be a chance, because you look across and say, are there any better projects? So it's not the wind speed economics alone. And, you would have to calculate what tariff you need to get, and you would bid that into the auction, and, so long as you're under the cap, maybe you're okay. But the problem I see in July is we know there are many other sites with better wind. And if that's the case, then how are we going to compete? So, we could run, I guess what would be useful is to run these economics based on what tariff would we need to get an acceptable rate of return.
Yeah.
And just see what the likelihood of getting that tariff is. And then, we could do the same thing with another project that maybe is 6.7 meters per second or 7 meters per second. see what the gap is. I think it's going to be quite large.
Yeah.
Does that make sense, Nia?
Yeah, but I think if the IR is only 1.5%, so it doesn't make sense to make any investment, right?
No, that's right. We would have to have a higher tariff, but which is possible except for the fact that you're going to be competing with other projects that maybe can afford to bid 6.8.
Yeah,
it's the competing projects that are going to set the tariff at the end of the day. How did you pick 6.8? Is that the cap that has been discussed?
Yeah, 6.8 is the cap, the ceiling tariff, the highest one, and in reality it might be lower.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, I think we're not going to pay anything ourselves to extend these projects. If there's a relatively small purchase price and you can find another buyer who's willing to acquire them, and we keep our equipment exclusivity, then maybe there's an option like that. But I think the whether or not the project would ever proceed still an open question. So we shouldn't. Let's do our assessments. And then Nia, if I'm planning on, if the schedules align, I can be in Vietnam and meet with HLP in early April. But I think the likely scenario here is that by end April, we'll just have taken a decision to drop these.
Yeah, I think so. And even if we introduce to someone else, I think with that economics, I think nobody would be interested.
No, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay. Where did you get the financing cost, the new assumption?
So Nia provided the cost of financing, but I also checked with Financial Solutions with Glenn's team to get the updated, and they verified what Nia gave was the market rate currently.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so let's complete our assessment. Let's compare back to what we thought when we originally took these blocks on. Maybe these blocks originally were not as high as some of the others, so maybe it is coming in with what the original forecast is. I don't know, but we do need, when we go in to talk about HLP, and make a recommendation. If the recommendation is to drop, we should include at the same time the overall assessment that Jorge and team provided on what has happened so far with wind speed measurements, and what have we learned from that, and if there's anything we can do differently in the future, what would that be?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and the next is about the opportunities for the 200 megawatt project in Kon Tum province. So it seems that the developer said that they want to have a partner who want to acquire the project based on milestone payment, and they said that the wind speed is around 7 meters per second. But they have not provided us with the full MATMAT installation report, so we have not started the wind assessment yet. So based on the information, I'm requesting for more information, but it seems that they want to change. They want to wait until the PDP approval before they can sign anything for sale the project. So I don't know why they changed now, but it seems that maybe they expect to have a higher asking price if the project is included in PDP. So they said that just wait for PDP first before they come back to us for that opportunity.
Okay, so you can try to change their mind. Have we signed an NDA?
No, not yet. They have not provided the information yet. We need to do some initial compliance check before we sign the NDA, but they have not provided information yet. so we have not signed anything. And now they come back saying that they want to wait until the project included in PDP before they sign anything with us.
Okay. So if you can't change their mind, then I guess that's not something to pursue now. I think anything you can find me on that basis where there's been measured wind and it's, we're not taking the wind risk, deals exactly like this, but that we might be able to get into onshore. That would be good.
Yeah. So, are we willing to consider any study right, any concession that they already obtained, but they have not started any wind measurement? We don't want to take any wind risk, right?
I think based on what we've seen with the challenges of wind risk, I think, the first preference as a different approach, it was to see if we could find anyone who had a project where they had measured the wind. And we didn't have to take that risk. And maybe they're getting hungrier because it's been such a delay that they would accept some sort of payment than milestones, mostly milestones, backloaded. So that I guess would be the first preference. If we can find other projects, we can always look at them. If we can get them just based on a milestone payment approach, if the milestones are reasonable, we could look at them. But what we found before was the expectations were not in line with the economics of the projects. So
yeah. So if there are some projects that they have not installed the met mask yet, and now they're looking for someone who willing to install the met mask for them, is there something that we can consider for that?
Yeah, I think we could do the evaluation and see. That would be like the HLP model. I don't think we would commit to the same type of payment, 40,000 to acquire it, because the economics are going to be more challenged in the future. But if you can find a good project and it's in an area where we have better control of the wind assessment, more data, more net mass in the area, maybe to have higher confidence in our wind resource assessment, I think we can look at it. But if it were, just with the same wind risk and people want a premium, either upfront or through the milestone payments, I think, we probably would not be inclined to do that right now.
Yeah, okay.
Best if you could find a deal like this where the wind's been measured, so we don't have to just to make it a little bit different than some of the projects we still have now, even after HLP.
Yeah, understand.
Is there any chance? Just curious about NNG. Have they surfaced at all? Do you ever hear about them in doing?
Yeah, I have not heard anything back from them yet. Let me try to contact them again. I used to call and text them several times, but they didn't feedback. So let me try again.
Because they would have measured wind, at least on one of their concessions, right? They had installed MetMast.
Yeah, I think they should have enough wind data right now, I think. But they may think that the deal they signed with us is not really good, so that's why they just try to escape.
Well, they can't escape our contract. We still have a contract. Maybe you could say I'm trying to plan a trip in sometime in early April. Would they be available for a meeting?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all from Vietnam.
And I'm not giving up on the offshore. I had a first discussion with Nikolai. Big numbers like 7.5 million. It's just even though we don't have to pay it until some future point, it's a big number for us in development generally, but especially right now, given the times at Festus. But it doesn't mean it's not possible. He just wanted to, kind of get a feel of where the company mood is going, I guess, for an IPC type deal. For the one in the south, if you can figure out what they would propose, Bintuan for the milestone payment scheme, I think it's worth having that discussion with them to see how reasonable they might be, and if it's low enough up front, it can be back end loaded enough, then maybe that could be possible.
Yeah. Is there any chance that we can bring in the partner upfront together with us, so that we don't need to spend any big DevEx on the project from beginning?
There's no obvious partner right now. I was thinking that a Japanese partner like Sumitomo, but if they're not paying any premium, then maybe that's an indication of where the bidders think the market is right now. I suspect the players that want to have a position in Vietnam, a lot of them already have their positions. CIP, Orsted.
Yeah.
So try to see what the Bintuan milestone payment might be that they would be thinking about making it, and for our point of view, making it as backloaded as possible.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Anything else for Vietnam?
No.
Yeah, I think that's all.
Jason, do you want to start Korea?
Yeah, I would like to start Korea. So I would like to go with the offshore at first. Uju is the this week SW went to the Uju government and had a discussion with the occupancy permit status and that. And they said that they are asking to revise the occupancy permit. So we have revised all kind of things. And yesterday we submitted, we give them a modification, and they are under reviewing on that. As mentioned, that we are targeting to have occupancy permit by end of April. The only thing I see here is that there is a Suhyup, we call it Suhyup as Fisher Union, the nationwide Fisher Union, and they are going to ask Uju local government will ask the Suhyup regarding how do you feel about our offshore site at Uju, but we are trying to minimize the counterparties as much as we can and to receive all the positive feedback from the Suhyup in Uju area. And our targeting is, as I mentioned before, that when Nikolais comes to Korea, we would like to show them this is what we achieved for the Uju regarding 2 occupancy permit. That is the my sunshine that we are targeting on that.
That would be fantastic.
Yeah, that is my target.
Do we know do we know if other people are still trying to make applications, still trying to get the consent of the local Fishermen's Union?
Yeah, SW is going to deliver on that. 아직 이야기해봐라. 음소거. Sorry. 다른 데가 또 막 신청하고 하는지 물어보는 거죠. 거기 우주.
As far as I know, the sourcing area is does not the other company try to proceed for the occupancy permit in the sourcing area. The only thing is from my side, the Suhyab opinion is very important. So originated now managing the Ulsan County governor now, and as far the SOPA is not there on the big problem. So big problem now.
Yes, to
Okay.
summarize, and there is no competitor, and I mean the main thing is that we need to organize a Suya business. So that's why our developer is contacting the Uju local government in order to sort out these kind of things.
Okay, so RWE isn't still.
Yes. No, they are not. They found out that they could not get the consultant like us, so they give away. They give it up.
Okay.
So as you know that Jinwo, I'm going to go to next to Jinwo. That the 8th of March, we soon. The next week, the mayor will be sentenced. Will be happening at the sentence. After that, we are going to take a next step. And this week, I had a meeting with Ibediola, with the UPA face-to-face, and they were asking me that they told me that they are going to give us the non-binding EOI as soon as possible, but I told them we need to have a EOI as soon as possible. So they are preparing all kind of documentation, and once they are finalized that, they will get back to us. And beside that, I mean, Frank, they were asking, and I told Jason about what they're asking me about. They told me that whether are we proceeding the offshore or not. So I told them about it. We'll see. But I told them we are under preparing some kind of offshore status, but we will get back to you once we are tangible on that. So they were very happy about it. They were actually very interested, and they would like to proceed the project. And that was the feeling that I had with the Ibediola in the face-to-face meeting.
Do they know about Wando? Do they know?
No. Actually, no. It seems like they don't know. They have just only one person, but his nationality is Spain, I think. So
Yeah.
he's kind, yeah. The thing
So
is,
I spoke to Bora, who is our Vestas key account manager for Iberdrola, and he was following up with their Spain team. You know, that Opal says the guys that take the decision, and they were not. You know, I think it was negotiations, kind of, but they were telling him they don't know about a +1. You know, they only have one person in country, so they were. We should just give it to them because they're good friends with Vestas. You know, they were trying to take that approach with Bora, but he was supposed to go back to them and say, you know, you really have to give us a +1, or you'll not stack up. So I'll try to ping them again today. I think, you know, by the end of next week, we really have to be taking a direction and a decision. We need something from Iberdrola. We can compare it against what Macquarie has suggested, and then we should plan to go to DC with a recommendation.
yes, Frank, absolutely. As Jason might know, that Macquarie is cured. He's pressuring me.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, Iberdrola does have some things that Vestas would like very much. They may even have some offshore things in Europe. So, you know, there could even be a like for like +1 for Wando with something they have, maybe even more advanced in North Sea somewhere. So Bora will be aware of those things. We're not going to rush to Iberdrola for offshore yet, but there may be something like that. That's something.
Yeah, they were very happy about it, and they had very strong they had strong interest in order to work with us.
So they haven't done any. They don't have anything in offshore yet.
They told me that some of developers is approaching to them whether they want to co-develop that blah blah something, but they said no. But once that we have occupancy permit, they said you are different from the local developer, so they would like to proceed the project with us.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah, that was bottom line, and also that regarding Shinan, as mentioned, the originate developer who wished to proceed the project in Shinan, Frank. So different area below the Yonggwang. Yeah, I mean, they originated contacted the Jeollanam office with the initial informal contact, and they said that I mean whatever candidates are the best size or whatever blah blah something about it, but Jeollanam office said that absolutely not the best size. It seems like GE is contacting the Jeollanam saying that taking on whatever or something, but they do not they cannot GE cannot take, as you know, the GE cannot guarantee anything about it. But GE was mentioning to Jeollanam office, we are going to build a factory and we are the better than best. That kind of air is coming from the Jeollanam office. So Jeollanam office said that if you are doing the project with the Vestas, we cannot proceed anything. You cannot even proceed anything about that kind of thing. Same as the Gino is coming from underground. So, but I found, I had a discussion with the SW, even if the Jeollanam office is not the main authority, it's not the key authority to give us occupancy permit, but they will be the one of the authorities, they can give us feedback. But I told the developer and SW, why don't we contact with the Shinan informally? How do you think about whether we can achieve occupancy permit or not? What's the error on that? That's our solution in order to solve the Jeollanam's negative perspective on that.
Have you had a discussion with Harry recently? I thought they were going to be having further discussions with Jeollanam.
Yeah. He told me that.
So what are they doing? Yeah, what are they doing?
It seems like, Frank, they're not doing that much, actively doing nothing at all. From my perspective, they are contacting with the as far as I had a discussion with Harry told me that they are having discussion with the Minister of Energy, mainly Minister of Energy, and they would like to proceed some kind of thing from the Minister of Energy, go to the Jeollanam office. They intend to avoid the Jeollanam office directly. So they want to make a cushion with the Minister of Energy, and Minister of Energy is giving a pressure to Jeollanam office. That is their tactic, but I'm not sure whether this kind of thing can be effective or not. Because what I'm thinking right now is that Jeollanam office is being very bully to us, which means that we need to be contact with it directly. But if we are saying that giving a pressure to me, even if the Minister of Energy is giving a pressure, Jeollanam will say that I don't really care about what you're saying about that kind of air will be coming. That's what I'm thinking right now. So next Monday, I'm having a meeting with Harry, face to face. So I will let you know about keep you posted on that.
Yeah, I think we have to talk to Harry, see if they really have a plan. If not, I can talk to Sheridan. I think we don't want to be talking to anyone in government directly on Jeollanam. We don't want to be, perceived as opening up a new dialogue. It really has to be solved by the
manufacturers, yes.
by Harry and Sheridan. Yeah, we don't want to get in the middle of any of the discussions they're having.
Yeah, and we are the one who is getting affected by that kind of circumstances. But meanwhile, that we will do what we can do. In fact, we are not going to stop in here. So trying to find a solution whether we can proceed this project in Shinan or not. Because in these days, Shinan area, the fisher unions are very positive, and they announced some kind of newspaper that they are positive to proceed the Shinan offshore area, which is totally with 8.2 gigawatt. It's kind of Shinan area is backward, and the fisher union loves the offshore. That kind of air is coming from the underground. So I believe that, I would like to take this thing as the last chance in order to proceed in Shinan. As you know, the Shinan is most favored places.
I thought SY was going to be the one talking in Shinan.
No, originate. That's Yosu, friend. SY is Yosu.
No, I know that, but I thought they also told us, somebody else told us about the areas adjacent to COP.
Originate.
That was originated. Okay.
Yes. That is originated, and contacted the Jeollanam office, and they would like to contact with the Jeollanam Shinan local government informally with the SW. That's why we are talking about, regardless of Jeollanam the previous.
Okay. Is there any update on the new Wando areas or? Wando 1 and 2. How are we progressing with the LiDAR permit?
Yeah, Wanda wanted to, in order to, yeah, we are filling out some kind of documentation, filling out the LiDAR application. With SY is filling out the documentation, and SW and I are reviewing on that. Once we are finalized that, we can submit the LiDAR installation application. And Wanda 3 is that, as I mentioned, that we are targeting to
Alo.
achieve occupancy permit by end of this week.
Ừ,
That's
ừ,
my
ừ.
aggressive
Ừ.
timeline. By not the end of this week, by end of this month. That's my aggressive timeline. But to be more, let's say that more conservative, we will be facing in
Ủa,
April. That's what
em
we
gửi
are.
khi nào?
Okay. And how about the Yosu?
Yosu, yes.
Thế à, anh không nhìn được.
Yosu area.
Anh thế em forward
as
lại cho anh
mentioned
cái.
that we are going to go from our SY had set up the tactic with the not the top to bottom to top, which means
thế
that
à?
they are going to
rồi,
go
rồi.
with the core town, Gomun Island, and
Rồi,
they
rồi,
found
ok.
out there that there, as I mentioned before last
Yeah,
week,
yeah.
that there are some kind of things it's being neutral at this stage. There were in Yosu area there was lots of developer, including Pacifico or whoever it is, and they were messing around. But at that time, they were very negative about it. Fishermen were negative, and they had lots of protests with their vessels on that. But in these days, they are becoming now that neutral, not the positive, but neutral, which means that at least we can give a shot on that. So that SY is going to approach the Gomun Island very secretly, and finding out how do you think about it to capture their mind is what we are targeting on.
Okay.
Yeah, and today we will receive the Fuguro's technical report and all other and we this week I had a call with the Axis with the same condition as the Fuguro. I asked them to give us their technical requirement and what the all kind of price quote by next week, so we can compare by each one by one items, so we can finalize the for LiDAR cost on that. And SW sent the NDA to Christina, but Christina is not on the leave. But anyway, after the NDA, we will receive all kind of documents from the Axis. That's what we are doing right now.
Okay.
And one those all kind of economic values and pro ratas that I found all the materials based on the market intel, so that we can see the economic values with the Shanaz and Jason about it. That's what we are targeting.
You mean for the LiDAR?
Not the LiDAR. All kind of all from the DevX, all the DevX.
Oh, okay.
All the DevX. In order to go to DC, that's the something. But as Frank, that about the civil affairs budget or DevX is quietly, nobody has that done ever before, which means that we need to estimate it.
Understood.
Yes.
I understand.
Yes. So we got the material, so I can have more. I need to have some time to digest on that, and after that, I will have a discussion with the Shanaz and Jason. And now we need to. And Jason is asking me that we need to go to DC as soon as possible for the Wanda, because the SY needs to get a payment as well. So that kind of things are linked with each other.
Miss Baby?
Okay.
Yeah. We haven't acquired.
Yeah, will be acquired later. Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, and rank also AWP. Yeah, today their owner, the DK owner, came to the office with their office, because he's always living in his house, but he came to the office and having their internal discussion with their BOD members, and soon they will be decided. In meanwhile, that we received almost relevant all the files from the AWP, and our GPyong is under reviewing on that. And besides that, Jason told me that I need to do the DD like grid and everything, so that SW and I is working on grid and land and what kind of civil affairs they have and what is the list project itself. We are digging more about it. So
we have all the legal documents we need for DD.
Yes.
Do we have all the technical documents, feasibility studies? I know we have the wind resource data, but do we have all the other technical data?
Such as Frank, I'm losing.
Well, have they done any logistic studies, any layouts, any? I don't know.
Yeah,
What
they
else?
have. Jason, you wanna go or?
You can say, I mean, both things like environmental report.
Yes. Yeah. Uh-huh.
And then whatever they have.
Permits, yes.
Grid, because to for the transmission license as well.
Mm-hmm.
So have you received these things?
Yeah. Also, that I got all the material because in the permit says that everything is included in the permit. WTG layout and how it's going to be happen and everything is in there, in the permit itself.
Okay. Is Jip Young also reviewing the permit documents?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
See if they've been approved correctly?
Absolutely.
Confirm the status.
So what I'm thinking with the SW is with me is that besides of the documentation, we need to find out something is on ground in the background. That's why we are digging on that.
Okay.
Yeah, to get more clarified and to get more confidence about the project.
Okay. And Jorge, I believe, what date did you guys commit to for the wind
8. Yeah.
first assessment? March 8th? Is that still tracking, Jorge?
Yeah, that's right. That's on track. So that's to provide the evaluation table for the for the detailed siting assessment.
Right. Okay. And so you'll do the layout and the AEP for the layout. Is that based on the MAMAS that they have installed? Is that correct?
Yeah. So we've run the CFD analysis to calculate the AP, and I believe there was a layout concept that was provided. Based on those inputs, we're running a couple of turbine technology scenarios because originally I believe the consultant report was looking at the V136. So we'll be looking at that, but also the V162 in particular to see in terms of spacing and loading if that would still work. Potentially the V162 scenario might evolve to make it work dropping a few turbines because it's a bigger power rating. So we'll be looking at all that. So we'll be presenting those findings next week.
Yeah, I mean, I got the Horace perspective, but based on the regarding logistics in Yongyang area, said at this time will be impossible to do with the V162. The maximize is the V36 that we have done.
Okay, so you're saying is that because of transport or?
Yeah, absolutely because of transport, the curve area, complex area. And because I had a discussion with all the logistics and transportation companies in Korea. They could not get any solution regarding V62, especially in Yongyang area, which is Y4 area. That's why we have done with the V112 at first time and V126, and this time is the V36. Will be the maximizing Korea at this stage.
Sure. Yeah. Do you want us to just present it for intersects, or you want us to drop
that
one?
That's decision.
Maybe Jorge, you can just run the 3 scenarios. I don't think it takes that much extra time, does it? We need V136 if we think that's the solution. 150, if you can run 160, just to run it to see what the difference is.
Yeah, I mean.
But we can. But then we need to get the logistics confirmation. We can show them to our construction teams and get confirmation.
Sure.
What the limitation's going to be.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, I think Daniel won the assessment for both technology, and then he can offer the right technology. And I think Jason is supposed to also check all the report to see what's the approved tip height and things like that. And if we have to get reapproval, how long is the process? Yeah.
Yeah.
So just to confirm, we still don't have clarity on what's the planning tip height limit or
no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Jason Cho, don't we know what they've recommended? So it's everything except the final permit. So they must have had an assumption.
Yeah, I mean, because at that time they were using the Enercon. Enercon one.
Oh, what tip height? There was a tip height.
Just
with
give
the
me,
Enercon.
just give me a minute. So.
But the WRA report provided assessed the V136 at 112 meters half height.
Yes.
So yeah, the 145 at 107 meters half height. So yeah, it looks like they've assumed a tip height. So I guess whatever we assess, we'll just stick to that assumption.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that is for the AWP. And regarding onshore, what are mounted? You know, there's two local counties, Yeonggwang and Hanpyeong, and we got received Hanpyeong in positive feedback from the Hanpyeong local government. So that's positive news. So the application is under reviewing all kind of authorities and circulating. Only two items we left is that about Minister of Forest and also the CAPCO. Two authorities are under reviewing on that, and the rest of the authorities have been give us the positive signal in order to achieve EBL.
That's good.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's it for Korea. Yes, I'm pretty sure that's it for Korea.
Sounds good.
Anything else?
Yeah.
Not on Korea.
PK, do you want to update on India?
Yeah, morning, Frank. Regarding Gadak, we had a call with Everend News finance team and along with Supal and Anup. And it's quite positive. It was very good. Only 3-4 points are pending from them, and everything is clarified now. The only thing is the Orange Ashok's liability. We also told them to inject some kind of working capital loan under Orange Ashok. We can adjust with the consideration price. They are working on it. They will come back most probably this weekend or early Monday. So once that is done, I think we can close it very easily. I told them the target date of complete all the finance DD, everything, and by 10th of March. And we want to execute all the documents, close this by 15th of March. They agreed, and they are also positive on that. And today, Supal and Jacobs are Barbara is having an internal meeting. I just forwarded a mail to Jason also. So they have an internal meeting to decide on that whether we can write off this or customer can give a working capital loan to close this liabilities, so we can have a clean books to close the transaction.
That's still, we need to do that before we can sell. We need to get that clarification.
Yeah, that today I think they have an internal call. Barbara, Jacob, Anup is there and Supal is there. They are going to take a call on that. Customer also reviews their feedback of we are given an option for them to give us a working capital. So maybe anyone will work. So
okay, so explain to me again. We're going to target having all the documents informed by March 15th, but you mentioned March 30th. What's the difference between the two dates?
No, March 15 I want to sign up. That's what I told to Everend to close this.
So they have to complete, so we'll close on March 15th? That's the target?
Yeah, that's what I have told them. They agreed and they tried to do that. By 10th, they have to complete all the DD and also 3-4 days the paperwork. So I told them by 15th we should be able to execute the documents. So let's see.
Okay. But you also mentioned March 30th. So
that is a long
something
stop
else?
gate. Yeah,
Okay.
that is only a long stop gate.
All right. Okay. Good. Let's target March 15th. Sounds good.
And regarding MetMust, we have spoken yesterday. So
Anything from Macquarie Vibring today? Any binding?
no, we are just replying to their non-binding offer. So we are going to give what is our specification, what is available. We are going to give them an entire list of 44 masks along with the details what we have, what we don't have. So because the term kind of conditions they mentioned is too much of assumption. So we are going to give what is we have. exactly.
So we're trying to we're trying to give them additional information so they can amend
Yeah.
their offer. Is that correct?
Yeah. Definitely we will not ask for amend the price, but we'll tell them this is what we have.
Okay.
And
So they're not going to submit their new binding offer until they look at this additional information. When do we expect?
Yeah, next Krishna will forward by Monday. She's on leave, I think Tuesday.
Okay.
So once she gives that our feedback, and they will have a couple of days to work on that. So maybe end of next week.
Okay.
And I spoke to Everrenew about the MetMask. They says and we are working. Okay, I don't see they are positive on that. Let's see.
Okay. Okay.
And Kampalia, I think yesterday Narayanan spoke to Pradeep. He has pushed back. It seems he has sent a mail. So,
yep. Okay. Okay. That's good.
Yeah, that's it from India. Anything else?
No, that's good for today. Thanks.
Yeah. One point I need to add. Basically, since we are also planning to sell WPI as an SPV, so in that I have talked here, and PNC will get involved because employees are there. So the employees needs to be shifted and other things. So that I have intimated to Barbara and here PNC. So I'll get back on those points also.
Yep. Thanks, Anup. Okay.
Okay, that's it from India.
Thanks, KK. Shanaz, quickly on Indonesia.
Yeah, okay. So for the Renergy projects for Garut 1, for the remaining studies that need to be finalized, we're expecting the reports for the landowner identification and the grid impact study within next week. And we've received a proposal for the jetty design, and Saravana is reviewing that. And the next step, apart from advocacy, is to engage the KKPR consultant to help us secure the KKPR permit for exclusivity. We are asking the consultant to revise their proposal and include a detailed scope of works and other details to ensure that their role is compliant and anti-bribery. And we'll follow up more next week in Jakarta for feedback on our pre-FS and for news on the REPTL inclusion and any RFP process. And for Garut 2, we will receive the LTC for Garut 2 by mid-March. Jorge's team is prioritizing AWP and other works. And after that, we'll update DC. And in the interim, we pause any further activities for Garut 2. For Breves, Renergy is progressing the advocacy efforts with the local authorities so that they can support securing our permits for the region, for the area. And then the studies are progressing for environmental and transportation. In parallel, we're also working with the consultant on the pre-FS. For Sukabumi, Renergy is securing the MetMask lease for the first MetMask. And the materials are ready to be transported and constructed at the site. And the second MetMask location is still being investigated. And similar to Breves, the studies are progressing for environmental and transportation. In parallel, we're also working to prepare the pre-FS. For the JavaStrat projects for Mahindra, the MetMask installation is ongoing, and we had the kickoff meeting with the land consultants to begin the land identification process. We are progressing with the pre-FS, and we have several draft chapters that we have reviewed. but we're still compiling all the other studies together in the pre-FS, geotech, and environmental. So we expect that we could, finalize something by mid-March after our trip.
Sorry, just stop there for us. Just stop there. Jorge, did Marco talk to you about the wind resource assessment for Mahindra? Whether we can potentially increase the AEP?
We just had some high-level discussions, but nothing in terms of actions.
Okay. Because at this current AEP, it doesn't seem like it's going to work. I'm just checking if you guys can. I know it's still estimation at this point in time. To reduce the rig loss, or maybe reduce the number of turbine, and increase the AEP per turbine.
Well, this is all at this stage. It's all assumptions. So yeah, we've just taken, based on the number of turbines, more or less the spacing. We're just taking an assumption. I think the uncertainty in the wind resource is much greater than potential insensitivity around wakes. So it's we've just kind of followed the same process we do for like any other site development ourselves, high level. Yeah.
Jason, what? So you're saying on Mahindra, maybe the Meso AEP is not coming in? Yeah, but I think that shouldn't stop us from putting up the MetMast unless.
Oh no, it's to finalize the pre-FS.
For the pre-FS.
For the financial.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because the capex has gone up, the AEP has come down, and this is a 6.5 meter site, and we are having issues. We're having challenges to meet the 12% or even 11%. I'm just thinking about how we can make this a bit more palatable.
So this is just the pre-FS, when we submit it to the government, looks like it may have a chance. It's not for us to take a commercial decision, Jorge. So anyway, you guys can take it offline, but if we can be a little more aggressive, it's just for purposes of a preliminary feasibility study to say this is basically generally where we are. And everyone understands that until we get the MetMast, we really don't know.
Yep. No worries.
Okay. Sorry, back to Brevis. Do we? I probably ask this every week, and I forget every week too. Is the MetMast installed?
Yes.
And how many months?
November last year.
So do we have any trend yet? Are we tracking against forecasts?
Well, no, we had scheduled to look at it this month, but with the AWP work that's been postponed. So the plan is the second half of the month, after we look at Garut 2, to maybe just plot the mesoscale versus measurement trend at Brevis as well.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, so for Jiri-Tondro, we're preparing to make the recommendation to DC. We'll probably do that after we come back from Jakarta, and Saravana is working very hard on this. For Cirebon, the PKK PRL application, which we will submit to the national team and Ministry of Marine and Fisheries, is being finalized now to the extent possible. They needed some inputs from us, and I think Saravana was able to provide those, but it's still not fully finalized. So in our meeting next week on Tuesday morning, we'll introduce Vestas and our intention to submit this application for Cirebon to secure exclusivity, and then we'll let them know that we're finalizing the application, and we'll submit it shortly after. And does Saravana or Jason have anything to add for Indonesia or KK?
No, nothing from my end.
I think on Jiri-Tondro, it'll be important to explain what happened. We did a further logistics study and it didn't pan out, but then what would we do different next time to avoid, if anything? But should we do more? How could we have avoided? investing and creating some impairment. Not a huge issue, but if we're going to go in and recommend the dropping it, we have to talk about the lessons learned at the same time.
Noted, Frank.
And Jason, I asked you, and I think you asked Bronson, if there some background on Sulawesi, like is demand going up, new smelters, might there be new green electron appetite?
Yeah, I'll come back to you. I have that in my email.
All right. Okay.
Okay. I think that's all for this week, Frank.
Okay. Sounds good. I'll see you in Jakarta on Monday. Hope you're feeling better.
Hopefully.
Yeah, get well.
Please wear a mask.
This is not late stage COVID or anything, right? This is the flu.
Well, I tested. It's still negative, but this is worse than COVID actually.
Yeah. My wife actually got COVID at the end of January, so she avoided it all the way through until most people were long cured. Okay. All right. Thanks everyone. Have a great weekend.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.